What's up guys, Everything Apple Pro here. In the iPhone 7, iPhone 7 Plus, and iPhone 6C, there's a lot of new information about them. So Apple's been very busy developing these new products, actually a lot of new patents, a lot of new rumors. So as part of my mini series where I talk about these new upcoming devices and all of the rumors and leaks surrounding them, this is part 5 of my iPhone 7, iPhone 7 Plus, and iPhone 6C rumor roundup guide. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. And I just want to mention that these are all from analysts. I will be linking some of the things down below in the description that I am using in this video. They're all from pretty credible sources, people that have a good track record. I'm not going to be picking stuff up that doesn't make much sense. So again, not covering everything, just the new details. All right, so the most controversial thing about the iPhone 7 has got to be its headphone jack. Now, 2 new Chinese blogger websites that have reported on past releases of the iPhone are now citing that the rumors are true. That controversial rumor has been reaffirmed and it's gonna happen. The iPhone 7 will have no headphone jack. At first it was just one person. Now more and more analysts are starting to confirm that it is true. Now this has got people up in a fit, in a rage, really. A lot of people, it's kind of divided half and half. Some want it, some don't want it. And in fact, there's been a new petition with over 260,000 signatures for Apple to keep the headphone jack. I thought that was kind of interesting, but they do raise some good points. Apple removing the headphone jack means a lot of old headphones are going to go to waste. There's going to be moral landfill. It just doesn't make sense for them. But at the same time, in order to progress in the future, we do need to remove it. And a lot of people don't agree with it, but there is logic behind it. Instead of the headphone jacks, Apple's going to be making use of its new acquirement, the Beats company, to produce wireless headphones. Now, there's actually quite a few details about them. There's a couple companies that produce something very similar to what analysts are saying Apple is going to be releasing. So pretty much 2 little AirPods, and by the way, it's been trademarked. I'll get to that in just a second. 2 little headphones that you're going to put into your ears, and they're going to be charged using a little wireless case. That's something that's going to double as a carrying case to hold them and to charge them at the same time. So battery life is said to be at about 4 hours for these guys, and they're going to link up by Bluetooth. They won't even be connected by a string or a cable. They'll literally be just 2 little AirPods or headphones that you'll put in your ears, and I think they're going to get lost very, very easily. So they're going to be bundled with the iPhone 7 and iPhone 7 Plus. It's possible that a lightning version of these will be made available as well, something that you can buy with a cable if you want to use on older devices. These actually look pretty dang cool, but there is a flaw with them. Now, depending on how long you listen to your music, these will only last 4 hours. They'll also have a microphone built in and a button for Siri, skipping music and all that. I personally don't listen to music for over 4 hours at the gym, like an hour and a half max. And you can easily charge them if you bring the case along with you. But I think this is a nice step. It'll be very nice to see how Apple is going to improve the earpods that are currently available right now. So just a few days ago, there's been a new patent. This patent deals with improving the efficiency, the loudness, the overall speaker capability. Now, official patent name is Audio Port Configuration for Compact Electronic Devices. So as audio devices get thinner and thinner with time, it's increasingly difficult to provide loud sound, good quality sound, while internals of the device get less and less roomy. So this new technology would basically create air ducts inside of the iPhone, and it would sacrifice battery life in other areas, but with the technology itself, you can create such amazing sound. So it's currently being used in the iPad Pro. It's probably the best speaker for an iOS device I've ever heard. It is so loud. Now, simply put, it uses air ducts that channel out energy. Instead of just using the air, it'll actually use components of the device of the iPhone. Basically, you can use the circuit board to amplify the sound, creating a deeper, richer sound. It's really confusing. Reading through the patent itself, it's kind of hard to get a grip on what it is, but this technology isn't anything new. It's been created in 1936, used heavily in the 1960s, and now in 2016, we're going to be seeing it possibly in the iPhone 7. Now, a Taiwanese site called Apple Club has leaked what appears to be iPhone 7 and 7 Plus component. Now, this Apple Club has actually leaked the schematic for the iPhone 6 protruding camera in the past, so we know they are credible. Now, what these actual leaked components are basically the backlight of the 7 and 7 Plus, and we know it belongs to them or something similar of the nature because it's very, very similar to the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus backlights, but the flex cables for the LCD are slightly shifted, and there's a 3D touch chip that's also been shifted in position as well. Probably not the iPhone 6C because it won't have 3D Touch, just Touch ID. So very likely that it's 7 and 7 Plus. Now, it doesn't really mean anything. We already knew these were being produced, but it's kind of interesting to see leaked components this far ahead of the release. So Fast Company has reported on two major things of the iPhone 7. Some of these we already knew. Waterproofing. The iPhone 7 will be either waterproof or water resistant. Apple's been investing a lot of research and development into producing patents for future iPhones to make it more waterproof or water resistant. So in my previous videos, we talked a lot about this very extensively. There's a lot of things that the iPhone 7 could include to make it so. I mean, it'd be awesome to be able to use it in the water without a case. That was probably one of the Samsung Galaxy S5's biggest strong suits. So that would be awesome to see in an iPhone, and more analysts are now predicting that it could be possible. Now, the same company, Fast Company, is saying that the iPhone 7 will feature wireless charging. It could be using inductive charging similar to the nature of the Apple Watch. It's the only difficulty with that, with wireless charging, is the aluminum shell of the iPhone 7. It does make wireless charging capability a lot more difficult, but Apple has patents for that as well that they filed in the past, so it's very likely we could see a wireless charging option. How cool would that be for Apple to catch up with the current times? It's not clear which method of technology they would be using to employ this, but if that patent has anything to do with it, wireless charging could definitely be possible with the iPhone 7. So back in November, we actually heard about a patent that Apple released for dual camera system on the iPhone, which itself seemed a little bit crazy for Apple, but a lot of Android phones currently use this technology. On January 7th, 2016, Apple actually filed a new patent, and this actually goes into further detail about this dual camera setup. And the cool thing about it is not only does it improve the quality of the pictures, but there's a lot of cool features depicted in the patent that I read about that could make their way to iPhone 7 or even future iPhones. So really cool. Let me get to the 4 or 5 features that it has. So a dual camera setup on the iPhone 7 could finally allow us to have optical zoom on the iPhone. By switching between focal lengths, you can actually zoom in and out without using digital zoom, meaning you'd pretty much be getting full quality picture even at zoomed in scenarios. So 4K video makes zooming in a little bit more tolerable. There's more pixels to crop, but with optical zoom, to see it on an iPhone would really be something special. Second, this would allow for us to take pictures and videos simultaneously on the iPhone 7. Well, hold up, we can already do that on the iPhone 6s, other devices as well. Well, this would allow us to take that further and do so in maximum resolution. So when you're actually doing it currently, taking a photo still from a video while recording, it's not doing it in full resolution. It's just doing it from the cropped image of the video. Now, with this capability, with dual lens setup, you could actually do so taking a picture and video on the other cameras at the same time in maximum resolution. I think that's really brilliant. Another great use for a dual camera setup. All right, so this one is huge. It's actually going to take me a minute to explain it, but a third use for the dual camera setup would be freaking awesome. So you could simultaneously record video and slow motion at the same time and have them available later for easy editing. Now, in the patent, in the details, there's so much to go through, but this one stood out to me the most. So another similar use to that would be recording 4K 1080p and then a slow motion still at the same time. So imagine having all of those options after editing. You're like, dang it, I should have got slow motion of that video. Well, with this dual camera lens setup, you can not only have 4K, the maximum quality available, but also slow motion to edit into that video. Now, I think that is brilliant. I don't know any other company that currently does that, and maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't heard of it. With the dual camera setup that is available, and having that option to have full frame video, slow motion, even a in between 1080p option would require an insane amount of memory. That's why that 256 gigabyte storage option on the 7 Plus definitely makes sense right now. And in the patent details filed by Apple a few days ago, it actually gives it a scenario where that could be useful. Say you're at a baseball game and you get a recording of the overall thing, but then you want to slow it down, get a little bit closer to the slow motion action. And with this technology, you can easily edit that in. And there's an emphasis on easily available after recording. So it would possibly split it up into 3 options in your camera roll, possibly just give you an option to do so later, but Regardless, it's going to take up a lot of memory, but it is an awesome feature. And lastly, the fourth feature would basically allow you to shift focus, change the focal point of a photo after it being taken. I've seen this in several Android phones, so it's nothing new, but it'd be nice to have on an iPhone. And I actually discussed this in my last update video, but wanted to throw it in there. This makes so much sense now. 256 gigabytes of storage could definitely help in scenarios where you'd be using that multi-layered video feature. Also, that 3100 mAh battery on the 7 Plus would definitely be needed. With these new features, it would eat up battery using two cameras at the same time, recording various levels of video. And lastly, the iPhone 6C. So just one detail about it, it could possibly be called the 5E. So Mac Atakara has given us some new information on the iPhone 5E. Apparently it won't be called the 6C, and it's a little bit disappointing. So the information he gives us tells us it'll be a step down from what we've learned from other various sources. Previously, 2 gigabytes of RAM, possibly an Apple A9 chip, but what he's saying is there'll be a barely upgraded iPhone 5S in an aluminum shell. A8 chip, 1 gigabyte of RAM, the iPhone 5S camera sensor with f/2.2 aperture. If that's true, I'd be very disappointed. I hope it's not. I hope it's more powerful, a slightly less capable iPhone 7, because why do we have to choose between power and small screen size? Why can't we have them both and for the same price? A lot of people would still be willing to pay as much as a 6S for a slightly smaller, more comfortable phone. And lastly, something I thought I'd throw in because I find them very interesting, Goophone i7. So Goophone, being a manufacturer that produces clones of Apple's popular products, even sometimes before they're released, has a new product, the Goophone i7. So we have some details about it, and it's kind of funny because I'm very curious to see how they'll match up the design and how it'll be compared to Apple's actual design. They released it last year, the Goophone i6S, I think, and I had it, I used it. It was very accurate, actually. It was a little bit thicker. It had the same color option, slightly different hue, but very interesting. So to see an iPhone 7 version clone before it's even released, I'll buy it as soon as I can when it's released. So guys, that's just about it. A lot of new information, a lot of exciting stuff about the iPhone 7, possibly even future iPhones. So some of this tech, some of these patents, they will likely not even be included in the iPhone 7. But we know Apple's working on it because the patents have been filed. There's a lot of information out there about them. Possibly we'll even see it in future versions of the iPhone. So thanks for checking in, guys. Hopefully you learned some information about the upcoming iPhone 7, 7 Plus, and iPhone 6C. So enjoy your current iPhones until those drop in about 8 months, a few days. I'm very excited for that. Have a great day. Peace.